The weather's getting warmer, and everybody wants to be outside, even your smart speaker. Crank up your favorite Odyssey stations on your Amazon Echo, Google Nest, or Apple HomePod at the pool or while you're grilling. Get your summer soundtrack from stations across the USA, from top 40 to rock, R&B to country. It's all here on Odyssey. Play your favorite station at your command, hands-free on your smart speaker. Your summer soundtrack is part of a universe of audio on Odyssey.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's Moose and Maggie on The Fan. Sports Radio 1019 FM and Sports Radio 66, WFAN and WFAN FM, New York.
Certainly is. We've hit the noon hour, 12:08 here on this Tuesday afternoon. Moose and Maggie, the program, 877-337-6666. Your number to call, your number to text. Oh, Pete, back at the shop. Spent a lot of time about the Yankees. Grant was great on everything that's going over in Europe and soccer, the American influence, and this new Super League that they might be trying to put together, Maggie. But you haven't touched upon the Mets as of yet, and they're going to be, as you just heard, bogus top of the hour. It's going to be chilly tonight in Chicago with temperatures in the 30s, high of 38, I believe, today in Chicago. So it's going to be chilly as the Mets go into Chicago to take on the Cubs. Walker, Arrieta, your starting pitchers tonight, Maggie. And you know, the Mets, it's been a while since they've been in Chicago. The last time, we were talking about it off the air a little bit, the last time the Mets were in Chicago was the whole fallout with Mickey Callaway challenging Tim Healy.
Of Newsday to a fight. Well, actually, it was Jason Vargas, I believe, and, you know, I hate to drag Tim back into this, but it was memorable for many reasons. So, remember, the Mets went to Wrigley in June of 2019.
Yes.
For a 4-game set. The way it started was Dave Eiland getting fired, the pitching coach. The way it ended was the Mets blowing another Jacob deGrom gem, and it was, I believe, Lugo gave up like a 3-run home run, and the big question was why wasn't Edwin Diaz brought in for a 4-out save or maybe a 5-out save at that point. Forgive us for some of the details that are, you know, escaping us here. But that was basically the crux of it. Like why, if Lugo was struggling, and I think he had pitched 2 innings, like, why continue with Lugo? Why not bring in Diaz? Like, oh, man, what a different time we're talking about. But it was understandably questions. Mickey was, like, embattled at this point. You know, and Tim had said, like, offhand, like, Mickey didn't appreciate some of the questions that were being asked about his bullpen management. He goes back into his office there at Wrigley in the visitors' clubhouse, comes back out, and apparently Tim said, like, see you tomorrow. And apparently Mickey interpreted that as some kind of smart aleck response, like maybe you're going to get fired. You know, the Mets penchant for firing managers when they're on the road. Maybe he's going to get fired here on the road. Turns out that wasn't going to happen. It turns out Tim had no intention of that. So then he turns around, poor Tim Healy. Jason Vargas, owner of like the 500 ERA, you know, is staring him down in the clubhouse, and he's like, would you like to, you know, it seems like you want to say something. And Vargas is like, I'm going to kick your ass. And now, after that, not only did Vargas get fined, Mickey got fined by the team. Jeff Wilpon called Tim Healy personally to apologize. And if I'm which is the right thing and only thing to do, if I'm remembering this right, I think we had a tally at the time of how many different, like, mini press conferences the Mets had to do that day to clean this whole thing up. And I think it went up to, like, 7. It's like 7 press conferences. I think deGrom had to come out at one point. Like, they had to release a statement. I mean, this was just peak dysfunctional Mets, and you just couldn't be happier that Mickey Callaway is just gone for good. This is before we even knew all about Mickey with harassing the female reporters and everything.
I just always loved the Brody Van Wagenen presser to clean up what Mickey had to say, and you saw that a number of times during that era of Mets baseball. Like, Mickey would say something, and it happened like 4 or 5 times would say something when he was meeting the media, and then Brody would have to come out and address the media to clarify or clean up what Mickey had to say to the media. Yeah, it was, and correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it around the same time that Syndergaard was fighting for having his own personal catcher because DeGrom had his own personal catcher at the time? I believe that was going around at the time too. All around that series in Chicago in 2019. Tim Healy, Jason Vargas, Mickey Callaway, another blown game for Jacob DeGrom, all of that, and they returned to Chicago tonight with a pitching
much
staff,
different
different tone.
Thank goodness.
Much different tone, much different tenor. And they roll out Taijuan Walker tonight, who has been very, very good in his couple starts here with the Mets.
Solid. He's been solid.
Very solid. I mean, the rotation has been great. And that's what gives you, with DeGrom, Peterson, Stroman, obviously, being your number 2 starter, Walker, they're going to get better with Carrasco returning, and obviously Noah Syndergaard at some point during the course of this year when he returns to the starting rotation as well, Maggie. The sky's the limit when you look at this Met team realistically, because that rotation gives you an opportunity outside of Lucchesi, and I'm not trying to knock Lucchesi, but outside of him, the rotation for the most part has pitched brilliantly, giving you an opportunity to win a lot of these games.
So when I heard Jerry Seinfeld on yesterday with Schmooze, which, by the way, I mean, that was just great. Great. Schmooze is excellent. He's always excellent. He and Jerry clearly have this rapport that's been going on for years. To hear Jerry talking about the Mets, and one thing he said was the smile culture, right? That's what Seinfeld was talking about with the Mets, because Lindor and just this sort of, and it's really a credit to the Mets considering all the negative stories that's been coming out about the front office and stuff behind the scenes, that on the field and with this club, it's been positive overwhelmingly. Take out a Michael Conforto here and a couple other things there, but it does feel like there is a lot of positivity around what this actual baseball team is doing, despite the first 3 games or 4 games of the season and how bad those were. It's really kind of turned around here, and I think Seinfeld is right about that, and just illustrating how different things were back in June of 2019, the last time that the Mets were in Chicago. And you mentioned Noah Syndergaard found his way into that story because I think he had to get in between Vargas and Tim Healy. Again, poor Tim Healy. Had to get in between him so that Vargas could calm down. First of all, Jason Vargas, I mean, who the hell are you? And secondly, I mean, how embarrassing. So, all around, to see where the Mets have come, again, behind the scenes, stuff in the front office, they still have a lot of work to do in terms of the culture of the Mets. We acknowledge that. But, on the field, just seems like the Mets are actually in a much better place this time around in Wrigley.
Yeah. I mean, night and day difference.
That's what Lindor will do for you.
Just an absolute night and day difference about where this Met team is. And, yeah, Lindor, the starting rotation, the bullpen. And you know what, Maggie, the last few days, so last week, driving around listening to Carton and Roberts, right? And they played the walk-in music for Edwin Diaz.
Oh, it's a banger.
Right, so Edwin Diaz last year brought back the same walk-in music that he used with the Seattle Mariners, right? Which you have not heard yet. We'll play it for you right now. I think it's called Narcos, right? So ever since then, you ever have a song just get into your head and you cannot get rid of it?
Yes.
I've got Gelbs tweeting it out, his entrance getting called out. I cannot get this song out of my head. I really can't. And morning, noon, and night, this is the song that I hear in my head. And I'm trying to play other things throughout the course of the day. Alexa, play this. Alexa, play that. I always come back to this. I'm always coming back to this entrance, and I like it. It's good music, and the good vibe for Edwin Diaz. Listen, he's pitched really, really well this year. I cannot get this song out of my head.
Well, tell Alexa to play Narco by Blaster Jacks and just have her put it on repeat.
Over and over again.
But that's, to me, it's the only way to get it out of your head. It is a great song for Diaz, but it's the only way to get it out of your head is you got to play it 100 times in a row. Don't you find that?
I guess. Yeah, until you get sick of it.
Until you just it just got to exit.
I think I'd drive my family crazy, though, if I'm playing that over and over and over again.
You got a pair of headphones?
I do have a pair of headphones. Then I'm just walking around. Then I'm just ignoring my children. Daddy, help me with my homework. I'm trying to get this song out of my head. I'm listening to Narcos by Blaster. What was it? By who?
Blaster Jacks? No, you got to point
Jacks?
to the headphones and be like, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. They're noise canceling. Yeah, that's the only way you're going to get rid of it, unless you got a better idea, or else this thing's going to be in your head for weeks.
I don't, Maggie, but I like the song. It's not like I don't like the song. Like, I think it's a catchy song. Now, I heard Evan mention last week that he thinks it could be right up there with Mariano's entrance, or it could be right up there with Trevor Hoffman and Hell's Bells in San Diego. Like, let's not get carried away. I mean,
the thing about Mo, though,
it's
a
catchy song, but it's not up there with those two. Those two are iconic entrances for closers.
Well, maybe if Edwin Diaz could pitch in a couple World Series, then maybe it'd become iconic like Mariano.
Do you think that's similar to when San Diego, Trevor Hoffman in his prime, and you're late in the game and you get Hell's Bells, the beginning of it, ding, ding. Like, you think that's comparable to Blaster Jack's Narcos?
Yeah, when we start associating it with a lot more positive things, definitely. And Mariano is with Metallica is going to be unrivaled, but the difference there is that Mo never picked that song. Right? Like, he never had a real attachment to the songs. I remember when he was retiring and they were going, reporters and stuff were going to Metallica, getting comments from them about Mariano Rivera retiring. And he was just like, yeah, they played it when I came out one time. Like, this for Diaz is, like, deep. I don't know about Trevor Hoffman, but this for Diaz is, like, this is his music. Like, Mariano just came out to Metallica because it was cool, and
it gets him fired up. But I'm asking you, like, a scene, packed house. I know we're not packed at this stage, but packed house, right? Yeah. If you're comparing those three songs, Blaster Jack's Narcos, Hell's Bells, Metallica, right, Enter Sandman. If you're comparing those three songs, you think Edwin Diaz's entrance song is comparable to those two?
Well, I mean, it's got a shot. It just depends what you're into. I don't know. I mean, is Enter Sandman ever going to be topped? I don't know.
Hell's Bells is an amazing song. And I like the Edwin Diaz. I mean, Edwin Diaz, you're right. There is that connection to this song, and I can't get it out of my head. And, I heard it last week, heard it obviously before that, but, they were joking around with it on the afternoon show, and I just cannot get the song. Like, I'm driving to Home Depot the other day, and I decided to put it on my phone and listen to it as I'm driving to Home Depot. And I listened to it 5 or 6 times on my way to Home Depot because it's one of those things where, I needed to hear it. Like, I could not hear it. Like, I couldn't listen to anything else. I'm driving to go pick up mulch, and I'm listening to Blaster Jacks and Narcos and Edwin Diaz's walk-in music.
I just can imagine this music firing up Moose to the point where he's just bum rushing the Home Depot, knocking over people, just right through the doors, not even waiting for them to open up, when you step on the ground, like just boom. Because that's what it's got to do. It's got to get you hyped.
Well,
you're going up to people wearing an orange vest, just sort of, pull me to the mulch.
Maggie, I laid, you'd be proud of me. I laid 178 bags of mulch.
How'd you even get it in the car? What are you driving, a flatbed?
No, so what happened was I made drives with the SUV, and we did like trips of 25 bags, right? The car reeks. It absolutely stinks, right? The
mulch isn't a bad smell.
The car absolutely smells, earthy. Right? So I made like 4 runs of 25 bags, and then we borrowed my father-in-law's, well, not borrowed, he came up, went with my wife Donna to Home Depot and made a run and picked up another 89 bags of mulch at Home Depot because he's got a pickup truck. Over the course of 3 days, I laid 178 bags of mulch.
I good for you.
It was.
What Maggie, are you looking for here? You want
I passed
validation?
Out. I think last Sunday night, the night of the Masters, I think I was sleeping at like 9:15. My kids
in
are like
a bed of mulch.
Yes.
Was just decided to lay down and take a nap in it. You're like, hell, I laid this whole thing. I'm going to enjoy it.
I got done with it. My wife looks at me and goes, go in, immediately take a shower. You smell awful. I go, thanks, Don. I appreciate that.
It's mulch. It's not manure. How bad could you have smelled?
It doesn't smell all that good. It doesn't.
Interesting.
And then you got the bugs. You got everything. 178 bags of mulch over the course of 3 days.
What are you guys doing up there?
What do you mean? We have a lot of beds. It's not like I have a ginormous piece of property, but my wife wanted black mulch this year. We went brown mulch last year, and we decided there was a sale at Home Depot, and we started making mulch runs over the course of 3-4 days, and we got it all done. 3 days, 178 bags of mulch. I was proud of myself.
Again, they don't deliver. Pete Hoffman, our producer, says he's got some compost for you if you want to go you want to start a compost pile out there with all that mulch.
I'm good.
Sure?
Thank
got
you,
a couple
Pete.
banana peels
Thanks
for you,
the
some
offer.
eggshells.
Thanks for the offer. You're not. That's when you know when you become more of a. You've moved out of the city. You're in Jersey.
Yep.
You're renting a house.
Yep.
When eventually you buy a house, buy a house in the suburbs, eventually you're going to be in knee deep in mulch. It's mulching season when it comes to the spring. Everybody loves mulch.
I'll bet you I'm not.
You don't think you're going to do it?
Want to make a bet?
You don't think you're going to do it? Spruce up the property a little bit? Get those beds? No, you don't have a green thumb?
Yes, you've known me for 8 years. Sure, why not? Moose is out there, whistling to himself some Narcos by Blaster Jacks out there putting mulch.
I am. I was playing it over and over and over again. As my wife said to me, you need another run of mulch. We need more. All right, Donna. Okay. Whatever you say. Happy wife, happy life. Moose and Maggie with you. 877-337-6666. We're coming on back right here, The Fan in New York.
One of the most influential figures in the Christian conservative movement mired in an alleged sex scandal.
Welcome back to Gangster Capitalism, Season 3, Jerry Falwell Jr. and Liberty University.
We got nothing to hide. We've operated a squeaky clean organization here for decades.
Please listen and follow Gangster Capitalism, a presentation of C13 Originals, a Cadence 13 studio, available now for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, and wherever you get your shows.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.